guys, listen, I'm getting validation on social media. Getting validation on social media from the likes of Dan Ives, Jim Cramer, who is not a good indicator, but when you have Dan Ives and Jim Cramer agreeing, basically saying everything I was saying from the morning show, yeah, we're talking about $926 billion company. Dan Ives is like, this is a $1.5 billion company. Automation is going to be fast-tracked in terms of federal regulations and stuff. Take a look at this. I'm looking at, let's pull back to the weekly chart. If you go to the daily, you're like, oh, it's so scary. You got a gap here. Oh my God. Right. Okay. Well, you can look, first of all, even on the daily, we're so close to that 299. It's going to test it soon. And then right after that, this is the magnet right there at 314.67. So your target's 300 to 314, 300 to 315, let's call it. But if you don't want to be scared of the gap, pull up a weekly chart. Okay. When you put up a weekly chart, just look at this and think about how important this catalyst is. This is an inflection catalyst. This means this is a catalyst when 5 years from now, you look back at the stock and you look at the chart, you can identify a point in time, right? How important is it that Trump is elected and Elon Musk is at his side and basically put him in office, right? How important is that to the company? Obviously, it's hugely important. How big should that candle be? How big should that inflection be when you look back in this chart in time from the future, right? And when you look at the weekly chart, hey, we haven't even gotten started. This 15% move is nothing. It's a blip. You haven't even missed it yet. So when can we see this like really peak out? Or I don't want to say peak out, but when is this thing going to capitulate to the upside, at least temporarily? Guess when that's going to be? I think it's pretty clear. January 20th. There's going to be a lot of hype building into that. Most of the run's probably going to happen well before that. November, December. Maybe you see this thing have that capitulation high, towards Inauguration Day, right after Inauguration. Everything's going to be baked in by then. So, again, look at these weekly candles. How big should these weekly candles be to represent this monumental thing that's really going to impact fundamentals for Tesla? I mean, look, this 299 to 315, that's like very short term. That could be tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow or Friday or Monday, might very well be tomorrow, 300 to 315. If you want to talk about a game-changing inflection for the company, you got to think this thing has got to be maybe somewhere between 380 and the all-time high by Inauguration Day, all right? Or at least 360 to 415 by Inauguration Day. That's my target. This is the opportunity. That's the analysis.
Amazon, okay, Elon, I mean, Jeff Bezos has been selling everything he could at $200. We got some call options overnight, $200 strike for this week. And my thinking was on a Trump victory, we can break 200 because, and I don't know if I mentioned this on the show yesterday or in our Discord. I think it was on the show. Jeff Bezos did something that took some guts. He went against everybody in his organization to prevent the Washington Post from endorsing Kamala Harris. Okay, that happened last week. And there was like a mutiny at the Washington Post. And people were really pissed at him. So he took a stand, and I'm sure Donald Trump took note of that. The question is that the market take note of that enough to say Amazon's a Trump stock, just like Tesla will benefit because of his support for Trump. Will Amazon benefit because of what Jeff Bezos did for Trump in the past week? That was the thesis for why we got some Amazon calls yesterday. And it's really underperforming today, up 0.45%. If we look at the QQQ and SPY, up 2%. Look, I got to throw Amazon in the top 5. I got to say, now we have all the ingredients finally. We don't know. It's a black hole. We don't know for sure how many shares is Jeff Bezos selling at 200. So it's definitely risky to do this. But if there's ever going to be a day where there's enough buy volume to overcome a big seller, I would say maybe today's that day. So let's throw Amazon in the top 5 for a break of 200 in a second. But it's not just about the supply. It's also about the demand. So even if you want to imagine whatever the max quantity it is that you think Jeff Bezos is selling out there. If there's any day where the demand can overtake the supply, today's a good day to do that. All right. That's basically what I'm saying. And has already sold many shares. It's not like he just started. He's been selling for a long time. So I would guess is closer to the end than the beginning. But again, it's a black hole what the supply is, but also today the demand is going to be crazy. Let's take out that $200 Jeff Bezos wall today. ASTS is something we started picking up yesterday. I'm going to make this a top pick. Don't know yet if it's going to be number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll see. But ASTS, when you have this is just a whole bunch of pillars coming together. What's a pillar? It's story trading. We have catalyst, sentiment, fundamentals, and technicals, right? We have a lot of things converging on ASTS today specifically, which I think makes this a good one. This sell-off here was because of the Trump win, because people thinking, all right, that benefits Starlink, and that's not going to be good for the competitor ASTS. Now that we're getting this correction in the Trump names, now the names that were hurt because of the Trump trades can come back. All right. So that's like money flow sentiment kind of reversing with earnings Thursday afternoon. We talked about the fundamentals. I believe it wasn't on the public show. It was in our Discord yesterday. So I'm looking for continuation after this open green candle yesterday. RSI still oversold here on the daily. So let's see. There's I don't know how far we can get today, but I think before the earnings report, there's a chance we get to like 27, maybe even up to 29 before Thursday afternoon. That's in the cards. ASTS, definitely a top pick today with this kind of Trump trade reversal, a little bit of reversion to the mean going to be happening today, it looks like. I ended up swinging in the entire call position I got in multiple accounts. You see we're up here, up 6%. Sometimes you got to know when to swing something on one of our top picks. So I did swing. We got ASTS still, I think even with the gap here of 7%, I'm still looking for a move to 27 to 29 before earnings tomorrow afternoon. Look at the macro. It looks like we are now in correction mode here. Look at QQQ. You got to worry about, well, did we get to this gap fill up here? Let's see where that is. 506.41. We're below that level. So now you got to worry about this level right here, which by the time it gets there, maybe it might coincide with 20 DMA. SPY looks very similar. So SPY and QQQ basically mirroring each other with those levels to look at. And IWM, below this level right here, very important, 232, could make it back to that 227 breakout or so, 228 breakout or so. Daily, weekly. Now you can see what I'm talking about there. So it's been a while, but the fact that that whole sector was exploding before this move tells me there's a lot more to come in Bitcoin. The big whales know something about the money flow, and that money flow is going to be coming in Bitcoin. So I think finally, we're going to break out above this 66,525 here, and then make a move to the all-time highs on Bitcoin. So that is definitely in play. It's hard to say for today because you're buying this gap up. But as far as a swing position, I think if you're not in it, you're light in it. I think it's a good time to increase the position in Bitcoin. Something real seems to be happening there. Trump coming in and really doing, again, kind of what was expected, saying he's not going to do that EV credit, $7,500 EV credit. People who understand the politics of this knew that was going to happen, okay? this is not really a surprise. And I don't think any of the bulls, including Dan Ives, and there's some other commentary out there saying this was kind of expected, and it doesn't change our thinking. It doesn't change my thinking in terms of new all-time highs, because guess what? Full self-drive, FSD, when that happens, the benefit of that is going to way overcome. We're talking about like 95% profit margins. I don't know what they're going to charge, $100 a month, maybe more. I'm not sure. But, getting that approved from a regulatory perspective is going to be a boon for Tesla, not to mention all their other projects, and the robo-taxi and things like that.
Guys, listen, I'm getting validation on social media. Getting validation on social media from the likes of Dan Ives, Jim Cramer, who is not a good indicator, but when you have Dan Ives and Jim Cramer agreeing, basically saying everything I was saying in the morning show, we're talking about $926 billion company. Dan Ives is like, this is a $1.5 billion company. Automation is going to be fast-tracked in terms of federal regulations and stuff. Take a look at this. I'm looking at, let's pull back to the weekly chart. If you go to the daily, you're like, oh, it's so scary. You got a gap here. Oh my God. Right. Okay. Well, you can look, first of all, even on the daily, we're so close to that 299. It's going to test it soon. And then right after that, this is the magnet right there at 314.67. So your target's 300 to 314, 300 to 315, let's call it. But if you don't want to be scared of the gap, pull up a weekly chart. Okay. When you put up a weekly chart, just look at this and think about how important this catalyst is. This is an inflection catalyst. This means this is a catalyst when 5 years from now, you look back at the stock and you look at the chart, you can identify a point in time, right? How important is it that Trump is elected and Elon Musk is at his side and basically put him in office, right? How important is that to the company? Obviously, it's hugely important. How big should that candle be? How big should that inflection be when you look back in this chart in time from the future, right? And when you look at the weekly chart, hey, we haven't even gotten started. This 15% move is nothing. It's a blip. You haven't even missed it yet. So when can we see this like really peak out? Or I don't want to say peak out, but when is this thing going to capitulate to the upside, at least temporarily? Guess when that's going to be? I think it's pretty clear. January 20th. There's going to be a lot of hype building into that. Most of the run's probably going to happen well before that. November, December. Maybe you see this thing have that capitulation high, towards Inauguration Day, right after Inauguration. Everything's going to be baked in by then. So again, look at these weekly candles. How big should these weekly candles be to represent this monumental thing that's really going to impact fundamentals for Tesla? I mean, look, this 299 to 315, that's like very short term. That could be tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow or Friday or Monday, might very well be tomorrow, 300 to 315. If you want to talk about a game-changing inflection for the company, you got to think this thing has got to be maybe somewhere between 380 and the all-time high by Inauguration Day, all right? Or at least 360 to 415 by Inauguration Day. That's my target. This is the opportunity. That's the analysis.
Trump coming in and really doing, again, kind of what was expected, saying he's not going to do that EV credit, $7,500 EV credit. People who understand the politics of this knew that was going to happen, okay? This is not really a surprise, and I don't think any of the bulls, including Dan Ives, and there's some other commentary out there saying this was kind of expected, and it doesn't change our thinking. It doesn't change my thinking in terms of new all-time highs, because guess what? Full self-drive, FSD, when that happens, the benefit of that is going to way overcome. We're talking about like 95% profit margins. I don't know what they're going to charge, $100 a month, maybe more. I'm not sure. But, getting that approved from a regulatory perspective is going to be a boon for Tesla, not to mention all their other projects and the robo-taxi and things like that. Wednesday, November 20th. We were pumped. We're making good money. It's not always going to be like this, but you got to know when to strike while the iron's hot. You got to know when to be in the market and press down on accelerator a little bit. That time period is now. Probably, I think, is going to last for another month or so, maybe, before any huge pullbacks. But we'll take it day by day. Right now, it is an easy time in the market, but that just means we can make much more money than what the average indices are doing here at Story Trading. So there's a lot to go over, a ton to go over. First of all, let me just show you a couple things from our Discord here. This is our latest trade account. We started with the trade account in July at 50,000 up to 125,000. I've shifted that now to a swing account. That was actually an IRA, so I'm going to start be a little more conservative in that one. And now shifting my focus to this. This is now the focus. The trade account was about $20,000, now up to 50,000 in just a month. So you can watch my progress on this one. Actually, I'm trying to get this to at least $500,000 because I need that money for something. All right, we'll talk about that. All right, but in any case, that's what's going on with the trade account. Also want to point out in the Discord, we just launched on Friday our wheel, the adjusted, modified story trading wheel. In fact, we have a little PDF we made about that, how the modified story trading wheel goes. Very excited about this one here. We're about 3 days into it, and we have a little bit of an update here. Where's the update? Okay. All right, so out of this $50,000 account, we've already collected $3,567 in premiums for contracts set to expire throughout return against secured capital, resulting in a 92% annualized yield. All that with less risk, less work, less stress, and we think most of those, probably all of those, will expire worthless. And we manage that actively. When a put that we sell doesn't look like it's worth it anymore, we already, got all the money out of it that we want, we'll close that out and we'll go into something else. So that's a new service from Story Trading. We give active trade alerts in that wheel put selling room in our Discord, real-time alerts when we're opening trades and closing them. So we're having a good time right now. All right, don't let it get to your head. Okay, everyone's making money now. It's just a matter of how much you're making, how much you're beating the markets by, and sticking to your process. All right, so that's what we're doing here at Story Trading. Oh, my. Good morning, Rhett. How are you?
Morning, Ben. How's it going?
Doing good. Doing so good, I decided to skip the Benzinga VIP party in Manhattan yesterday, which I was invited to. We'll be at Benzinga 11 a.m. Is it 11 or 12? It's 11,
It's
right?
11 a.m.
Every Wednesday, 11 a.m., we have a show in Benzinga, so you can catch us there. Okay, let's look at the macro situation. Bitcoin, no surprise. I said, if we break 90,000, we're going to test out 100,000 quickly. I said in a matter of days, I think is what I said. Did I say weeks or days? Maybe I said days. I'm not sure. Hours or days.
Yeah, you said in a matter of days.
All right, there we go. It's happening. I mean, it's a magnet now. I think it's impossible that you don't test like 99,000. Nothing's impossible. All right. I say that, but you got to manage your risk. Everything's a game of odds in Wall Street. So even if you think you know something 100%, you still got to manage your allocations and manage your risk. But yes, I think we're going to be psychologically, that's a major magnet right now to get to like 99,900, whatever it is. And I would assume there's going to be a massive sell-off up there. All right. So that's Bitcoin. Indices looking fairly stable. Let's look at them. All right. We predicted a down day. What was it? Friday. That was good. Since then, wow, we have really recovered after that. Unbelievable. Cool. All right. Well, regarding these indices, first of all, we have NVIDIA earnings tonight, and that'll impact. I'm seeing only good expectations. I don't trade NVIDIA. If you like it, have it in your long term, forget about it. Don't trade it. That's our view on it. All right. We like trading other things that a little bit less known, smaller companies. Well, Tesla. Tesla's our largest company that we trade. But in any case, NVIDIA earnings will have an impact after the close, secondary impact on Dell. We'll talk about that in a second. Gold, we called this bottom in gold last week, right off that 20-week moving average. Looking at the daily, I think it still has room to that 50 DMA, 245.35. That's your target on gold. And I really want to draw attention to XBI, which may be a top 5 pick here. XBI, in fact, all right, let's quickly go into our top picks. To do this XBI one, I need to, let me switch back. I want to read you something that someone shared in our community. All right, here we go. All right, right here. Is it this one? Okay, let's open this. Vivek Ramaswamy. All right, so XBI has been absolutely clobbered. Let's look at this together. XBI has been absolutely clobbered. A lot of people attribute it to that RFK nomination, but I want to submit to you, it also has to do with Doge and Elon Musk and Vivek wanting to cut costs, right? One of the things I've been worried about is that if they're coming in and cut costs, one of our biggest expenditures is healthcare. To what extent would they go in there and try to force Medicare and Medicaid to renegotiate prices and pay these biotech companies a lot less money? I was worried about that. Okay, yesterday, Vivek comes here and says this: many health technologies wouldn't be developed in the first place unless the U.S. reimburses attractively for them. But other nations then free ride on us by simply accessing those therapies at a much lower cost after they're approved for the U.S. Countries, after they're approved for us, countries like Germany, etc., need to start sharing the burden, or else they shouldn't get access to the technologies. Can't have it both ways. Okay, so I think that can be a catalyst for XBI here. We already had an open green candle yesterday, but look how much we've come down. All right, look at how low the RSI is. That to me is a strong catalyst. I'm going to be betting on some XBI, probably got some XBI calls here right at the open. Minimum target 94.98. All right, and we'll take it from there. So we're at 93.33 now, looking for 94.98, maybe in the next couple of days. So XBI is going to be a top pick. We're also going to talk about VKTX. They kind of feed off each other. All right, we had Zim earnings. We have RCAT, huge news, like the largest stock in our community right now. We'll talk about that in just a second. First, let's just look at the ER list. NVIDIA after the close, PanW. These are other ERs this morning. WSM up 26%, TJX, GLBE, Zim, which we just talked about. Neo, Target missed guidance by 19%. The stock is down 16%. We have other things to worry about. WSM was on my list because I noticed some posts on Twitter last couple of weeks that there was big options flow. We're not traders like that. Maybe we should be sometimes, but we don't make bets only on options flow. But someone made a ton of money looking at the options flow in WSM, up 27%. So congrats on that. All right, let's go to our top picks. And make sure I cover Dell later, right? If I don't, on NVIDIA earnings. Okay.
Sounds good.
Bitcoin we know about now. So Bitcoin, we've been bullish on RK. We're swinging RK. Let me throw up Tesla here. We've been bullish on RK because of the components in there. Tesla, Hood, Coin, Square, all of these, are very hot right now. Tesla and Bitcoin with the Trump trade, and ARK has a lot of them in there. So we're continuing to like ARK as a swing trade. We kind of downgraded our targets a little bit before. We had a target of 64 to 72. That may still come to fruition, but it may take longer than we'd like. So we've downgraded our target to 58 at that candle high to 63.5. 58 to 63.5. All right. We still love Tesla. Still looking for all-time new highs on Tesla. I've been adding Tesla basically every single day since the election. I've been buying high, buying low. It is now the largest mega cap stock I've ever owned in my life. My second largest position after RCAT, which look at this, RCAT up 16%. All right, we'll get to that in just a second. This is beautiful. We got lots of good stocks today. We're gonna
RCAT's rocking and rolling right now, Ben.
We're gonna kill it again today, Rhett. All right, Zim had earnings this morning. It was a blowout. They raised guidance by 39% over the estimates, but Zim is a tricky one to play. Took a little scalp this morning. Sold half of it, got in at like 28.50 to 29 area. Sold half up here in the 29.50 area. You're seeing a pullback. This is a very, very highly volatile stock. They're also giving you like $3.50 in dividend. When you look at it, it looks insanely cheap. Okay. But this has had unpredictable reactions to earnings reports. Last earnings report's a good example. Look at this. Look at this gap and fade all the way down here. And it's not the first time it's done that. All right. Look at the earnings report on day one. Red candle. Then it went up. Okay. This is a tough one to play because there is the sentiment around this sector, shipping, is very, very, very bad. All right. And there is basically, I think there's probably like big posters and signs inside like institutions and hedge funds, like, punish the shipping companies. They're so risky. Like, I don't know what the hell is going on there, but they're like, this is what happens. The numbers don't matter. Everything is based on the qualitative prediction that management gives on where are shipping rates going in the next 1 or 2 years. And you can have like a PE of like 2, this is what this is, I think. It's like crazy. PE, the forward PE is a 2.2. All right. And then institutions will be like shorting this thing because management said that shipping rates might come down next year. Like, it's crazy, but that's the reality and you can't fight it. So this is a very tricky stock to play. The one thing I can guarantee you with Zim today, extremely, extremely high volatility. All right. Maybe, just maybe, we might look at selling some puts in Zim. All right. But pretty risky. So in any case, this can do anything. This can do a gap fill and then fly. This could end up the day 30%. Volatility is guaranteed. I'll be watching it for dip opportunities. Maybe you can get some buy the dip, sell the rip action going on here. But potential high target would be 27 times 30%. I doubt it. Like, it's not a clean company. Like I said, in terms of price action, that would be $35. I don't think we're going to get to $35, but anything's possible with this stock. Anyway, that's up there. I talked about XBI. Oh, VKTX. We have call options in VKTX. Thank you, Yosef, for giving us the idea with the MASH data last night. And I looked at the call options and they were so cheap. And this thing is so oversold. And then we got that signal with XBI. So this was a great opportunity. So we did get into $50 call options expiring next week. They should be up at the open, but this might be a modest move. The data look really good, up 3.4%. And we have that catalyst for XBI. These two may feed off each other because VKTX is one of the largest components in XBI for some weird reason. But in any case, XBI moves VKTX and VKTX moves XBI. It could be a virtuous cycle here today, opening up 3.3%. Could we potentially have a move to like $56 to $60? Maybe. VKTX, very hard to trade. I own it on my long-term account. The more of a surety. Look at this support line right here, guys, at like $48, $47. I mean, if it breaks that support, you're doing a gap fill there at the 39. But in any case, these are excellent prices to accumulate shares for the long term for what I think is the inevitable buyout. VKTX is going to be bought out probably over $100. All right. I was expecting that by January, or it's already November. We'll see. All right. In any case, VKTX is going to be a top stock. RCAT, our largest position. Look at this, flying this morning. Last night, if you're in our community, we were buying the crap out of this RCAT. Yesterday, when the news came out, we were buying the crap out of it. Rhett, you got some nice call options on the dip there when the thing was like $4.50, right?
Yeah, I was loading up on that one. It's going to pay off.
Oh, you kept them? Nice. Yeah. Nice. All right.
Look at that. Still got them.
$5.50. Well, RCAT won that SSR contract we've all been waiting for. I think there are lots of awesome points in there. One of them is they won the whole thing. They didn't share it with SkyDeo. Beautiful. All right. The other thing on the conference call last night is that they're now positioned to win other large contracts, both in the U.S. and in NATO, a NATO contract that could be multiples of the size of this RCAT. They say multiples? Anyway, much larger than the size of this RCAT contract. Look, we went through some numbers with the Godfather, and he's thinking this thing could be worth anywhere from like, I think, $5.70 to $8 in that range, something like that, to $7.50, somewhere in that $5.70 to $7.50 range. I have a little bit of a different take. I'm not a strict fundamentalist. I assign a lot of value to sentiment. And I think the sentiment, you're going to get a premium here. You're going to get a premium because, first of all, they just won this. So the speculation will be high that because they just won this, now they can win lots of other stuff. Their program of record. So now we got to bake in very high growth. And I think that's going to give you a sentiment premium. In any case, I'm not changing the price target. $7.75 has been our swing price target because we've been expecting this one for a long time. And look at this technical breakout. Do you see how beautiful this is, right? It's a little bit hard to see.
No, I see it. It's gorgeous right there. Look at that.
Okay, that's your target. $7.75. Okay, we're at 555, 559 now, and yeah, man, I think this is beautiful. So we've also been the premiums on the puts and the calls extremely high. I did sell some $8 calls against my long position yesterday for like 60 cents. I'll take that. I'll sell the stock at 860. Not a problem. Also sold puts yesterday, which were amazing. So RCAT poised, and by the way, I didn't see this morning. I was like, I don't know. Maybe Zim will be the top pick, but it looks like you got to pick RCAT. An article came out, Wall Street Journal, this morning. Is it in here? It's not in this feed, I don't think. 8 a.m. this morning, they were in the Wall Street Journal. Okay.
It's going to be right there on our trading lounge, Ben, if you want to pull that up.
The article's in our Discord.
Yep.
Hold on. Let's see. Is it at the bottom here?
Yeah, right. It's like the latest info.
Wall Street Journal. All right, so look at this. This is crazy. Just the title is beautiful. U.S. military selects little-known Utah supplier for drone program. All right, go and read the rest. That's a lot of fun. All right, that's going to light a fire under the stock today, up 17%. Our community is going to make a ton of money on RCAT today. Really, my only target, $7.75. Anything between here and there, you're just buy the dips, sell the rips if you want to trade it. All right, that's the trade plan on RCAT. That's going to be fun. All right, OpFi, we told you yesterday, is poised to get to new highs, and it did just that yesterday. Looking beautiful, $10 target. CHWY, little upgrade this morning, up 5%. I don't think that's going to be, I mean, it was a nice upgrade this morning, but we got lots of other great picks. Look at GEO. All right, I got a big position, $30 GEO call options. Yesterday, look at this bullish engulfing candle. Beautiful to all-time, not all-time new highs, 52-week high on GEO. I don't think, it's not an all-time. 3103 would be the all-time high. So we're looking for much higher prices yet on GEO on this immigration stock. CHWY, we believe, will follow. Look at that turnaround. Beautiful candle there yesterday. Then we have PBI, which we gave you yesterday, which exploded. Someone in our community made a ton of money on that, like 80% on call options within the first couple hours. That was amazing. I think PBI can have a follow-through day after that awesome fundamental news yesterday, paying down some of that debt and increasing their EPS, increasing their earnings. That was beautiful. Then we have Dell, which I think is uniquely positioned to benefit from positive NVIDIA earnings. Wow, how are we going to decide? Let me give it a shot first, Rhett, and then you can tell me what you think.
Sounds good.
I think RCAT obviously is in the top 5. Zim is obviously in the top 5. We got to put VKTX in the top 5, maybe some XBI as well. Okay. And then maybe GEO with that huge break. And let's see if that covers. Oh, then Dell is up there. I'm very interested in maybe taking a Lotto Dell calls into the NVIDIA report. That's something I'm thinking about. Okay. OpFi, CHWY. I'm going to forget about CHWY. And CXW, same difference. GEO/CXW is going to be that GEO pick. Oh, and then we have the ARC, of course, which we always like, and that Tesla. Look at this RUM alert that we gave people in our Discord yesterday. Very timely alert on RUM at 8. It was right here, early, $5.39 I got in. But even if it took you some time to react up there, 6:30 with the RUM CEO putting a question out there, should we buy Bitcoin? Right? Which means maybe he already did. In any case, that one, I locked in gains at 580 by selling covered calls from the 539 entry. All right. Gold, by the way, looking good. I covered that earlier. And ACHR, beautiful. ACHR picked some for my long-term account yesterday. There was some news out on ACHR and Joby yesterday. Another one we killed. We really killed it yesterday, Rhett. Like pretty much all of our picks exploded. Unbelievable. All right.
We sure did, Ben. I put up one of the questions, thoughts on playing AEHR as a Trump/Musk play.
AHR and Celsius are two that I have in mind to buy in a few weeks because they're going to suffer from tax loss selling. So this we gotta do some sessions on this, or people in our Discord community. Maybe we'll make a channel on it, like tax loss selling, and we want to identify good companies that have been beaten up in 2024 because people have a lot of gains from other winners, and there's very few companies that didn't do great in 2024. So those will be targeted for tax loss selling. All right. And they can get much cheaper than they ought to be. So I think Air and Celsius are two candidates that can get still absolutely crushed between here November 20th and the third week of December. And usually that's when you start seeing the turnaround. I might play some big bets in Celsius and Air on Christmas Eve day. Okay, so yeah, just remember that. Rat, make a note. We'll have maybe make a channel on tax loss selling, because there's probably other great candidates out there besides Celsius and Air to pick up in a few weeks, but not yet. Okay. All right. So we got GEO and XBI and VKTX and ZIM up here. I guess I have to make RCAT the top pick. All right. It doesn't mean that you'll have an open green candle when you're opening up at plus 16% at 551. But we're getting the benefit of that 16%. You know, we bought it last night. We're in their Discord last night where I'm like, buy all you can here at $5.10. I was like, there is no reason why you should not go all into your max alloc. When I say all in, whatever your max allocation is that you're comfortable with, right? I was telling people, buy it now, buy it in after hours at $5.10. There is no reason to wait. This thing's going higher. So we're already benefiting from that. So are we going to have an open green candle from the 9:30 a.m. open? I don't know. But this is still top of the list in terms of looking for pullbacks and buying those pullbacks. I think on the way to a swing target of $7.75 is still a lot higher than $5.50. All right. So,
and Ben, we've been all over this thing since $2. So,
well, yeah. And thanks to the Godfather put it on our radar. You know, the Godfather
Yes.
definitely put it on the radar, and Fluff in our community, Fluffs, has helped with the due diligence amazingly well. But yes, we have been in this as a community from $2, and I basically at least doubled my position yesterday after the news hit. Okay. All right, so we got RCAT in the top 5. Then let's see, what are we going to do after this? ZIM, extremely volatile, but could be interesting. We have XBI, VKTX, and GEO, and Dell. What do you think about the ones after RCAT? What are your thoughts on these?
I'm looking at the Dell chart now. I especially like GEO a lot, especially with where it's at right now, trading on the chart. So that's just my thoughts.
Yeah, that's okay. Good. It's number 2. Maybe we'll keep it number 2.
I would like that.
By the way, I still very much like ARK, which is what I talked about yesterday. Tesla, I think every single day should be on your watch list to buy the dips every single day. Like this is going. All right, so maybe ARK will end up being the top. By the way, I swung let's see, how much? Maybe 10%. Yes, 10% of my trading account is in ARK calls that I'm swinging into next week. I think I have the 56 next week. All right, we're 58.83. So that might end up being the biggest winner today. We'll see. But in any case, so we got RCAT, we got GEO. After that,
I like VKTX to move to 54. I'm really liking that one, Ben. Looking at the charts.
Let's do VKTX. Let's do ZIM. All right, I'm not going to make XBI a top pick. I'll throw it in here as an indice, with ARK and XBI, because I think we kind of have, if we're putting VKTX in there, then we're kind of doubling up. They'll go in this, I think they'll go in the same direction today for the most part. So we got ZIM. Okay, possibility does exist that will be up 20-30% today, but more so ZIM is there for the volatility and the trade opportunities throughout the day, maybe selling puts on it. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and we got Dell ahead of NVIDIA earnings. What else? CHWY.
CXW, that's going to be going with GEO.
That's GEO. All right, you know what? I'm going to throw Dell up there.
I like it, especially if we get a nice break above. I'm looking at it right here, 139.37. This thing could go up even higher around.
Yeah, it's not a typical story trade for me. It's not a specific inflection catalyst. But NVIDIA is a big deal, and everyone loves NVIDIA. Everyone's going to be looking at NVIDIA, and I think because of the loss of business from SMCI to Dell, there could be some positive commentary from NVIDIA on Dell. So that could be something interesting for Dell. Maybe I'll pick up some call options, looking for an event anticipation run into the close. Who knows? Maybe we get lucky and we can sell half of that position in the late afternoon and let the rest ride free into the earnings report. That's a thought I have for Dell. All right, but aside from that, let's lock these in. Look at this, just beautiful. All right. I'm not selling here. Nothing to do. There's nothing to do with RCAT. You just get into it and you wait for the $7.75 swing target. RCAT, GEO, VKTX, Zim, and storytrading.com/Discord. Rhett, what do we got for them?
I'm pulling it up right now, Ben. I got the banner. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find it up here. There's so many of them. Where did it go? Y'all get lost.
All right. We are going to be, by the way, probably raising our rates January 1st for new members. Our existing members will be grandfathered in, but we're going to be going to $99 a month for new members starting January 1st. So if you want to lock in this $2 a day at $59, you should do that now, this month, end of December by the latest. You can do that.
There we go.
And you get a code here. First month, $9.99 a month, and then $59 a month. You can lock that in. As I said, new members starting January 1st, $99. It takes me a ton of time to provide all this content for you, especially now the new wheel strategy. I'm giving you guys real-time alerts and other content around the wheel strategy. Tons of work worth at least $99 a month. So make sure you get in while we're still at $59 a month. Code PROFITS for $9.99. Good luck, guys. We'll see you at 11 a.m. on Benzinga. We'll keep the trading in the chat room this morning rather than doing a live stream. All right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.